Yeah, I feel like this is something for a lot of the people that are targeted, for lack of a better term, by people on the left, the intersectionality scale that says, okay, if you are a woman, if you're an immigrant, if you're a Black person, if you are a Muslim, whatever it is, you have to see the world through the lens of the oppressed versus oppressor. And it's something that I call the gospel of grievance, that the left has been preaching for a long time, that you have to vote out of grievance. You have to think out of grievance. I saw this tweet the other day. It was some tweet saying, the people that report the most satisfaction in marriage are actually women who are religious and who are conservative and who believe in more traditional gender roles. And you had all these feminists just so angry about this reality, so angry, so bitter. I could not believe the things that I was hearing, but that's because a lot of people have been trained to see the world out of that lens of grievance and resentment and oppression. And I just would think that people want to be liberated from that. That's a heavy weight to carry.
Right. I mean, when I had you on my podcast, actually, I don't know if you saw this in one of the comments. It was actually so sad. It's the saddest comment that I've ever read, and it broke my heart. But a woman wrote underneath, thank you, Candace and Allie, for having this discussion. I recommend all girls watch this. She said, I fell for the scam of feminism. Now I'm in my, mid 50s. I'm not married. I have no children. I take antidepressants. Wow. So sad. So sad. But that is the reality that we live in, is that they try to get people in their youth to believe that they're going to find happiness through rage. And that's not the truth. By hating men, by being resentful towards marriage, by calling marriage bondage. And the truth is that if you fall for that scam, it does ultimately lead to unhappiness. And I try to catch those people while they're young and say, listen, you can fall for this scam. Whether if you're Black, it's the scam that, your biggest problem is the white man. But if you follow that path, you will end up unhappy. And it's time for us to take that back and say, no, we want opportunities. We have opportunities, and we are blessed to live in this country. The happiest of Black Americans or the most successful Black Americans that live in this country are from Nigeria. Think about that. It's because they haven't been taught. Yeah, they haven't been taught about racism. They haven't been taught that they're less than. And when they come into this country, they're doing what everybody else does. They just work hard.
They work hard. Exactly. It's really simple. And it's crazy how just convoluted the message has gotten from hard work and human potential to the conversation, like you said, about reparations. And that doesn't mean, and I've heard you say this before, like that doesn't mean that oppression hasn't happened or discrimination hasn't happened or that there aren't racist, sexist out there. I mean, there are people who don't like pregnant women out there. There are people who don't like blondes. There are people who don't like girls. There's all these kinds of isms out there. And so we can either sit here and we can say, wow, it's really unfair that there are some people out there that don't like women and who think that I'm dumb because I'm a woman or whatever it is. Or you can just do what you're called to do and fulfill a purpose that God has called you to do for his glory and not worry about what everyone else has said. It just seems like such a limiting mentality. But like you said, I do think it's from a place of a lack of self-confidence. I also think it's a place of fear too, that if you claim that, well, you can't do anything anyway because you are being oppressed or held back, then if you don't succeed, it's not your fault. You don't have to take responsibility for it.
That's exactly right. It's easier to be a victim. It's much easier to be a victim. It's much harder to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, why didn't I do better here? Why did this person beat me at this? What can I do to change about myself? That takes courage and humility to see where you went wrong and to assess yourself. And that is hard. And that's why I tell people, I say, look around the room. You're not a special snowflake. Life is hard for everybody. Right when you think that you've had the worst day of your life, you can guarantee another one is right around the corner. But life is really about how many more times you get back up. We start at different places in life, but we're all afforded the same opportunities. We are blessed to live in this country. And that really is the messaging of Blexit. Blexit left and just walk right into your future and embrace it, because once you do, you'll see how much more you are rewarded. And it just feels better. Like I said, it just feels better.